All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to We Shine Media Spotlight. I am your host, Angela A. Love Lewis, and I am so excited, as always, to be here, just to share with some up and coming authors, people who are out here, with the literary talent. They're changing the game, whether it's an author, an entrepreneur, whether it's somebody who is, just a creative out here making a difference and an impact. I love shining a spotlight on them so that you get to know who is out here, influencing things, right? And so tonight's guest is no different. And she and I have had a pretty long established relationship, and I love her, and I know you will as well. But I want to take a moment to give a shout out to Total Entertainment Radio. We have been partnered with them for the last few months, and so I love being able to send people over to their platform so that you can listen to this on their broadcast as well. So shout out to Total Entertainment Radio for allowing us to be a part of their platform as well. So now I'm not going to hold you any further because I like to jump on in, right? So we can get the good. I want to welcome to the We Shine Media Spotlight platform none other than Miss Courtney Clark. Hey, Courtney, how are you? Thank you
I'm
so much.
great. How are you?
Fantastic. I'm so excited about them being able to hear from you, because what I've learned about, just being connected with you, Courtney, is that you just have such a beautiful, calm spirit. You're just in touch with yourself, and it shows, because what you talk about a lot is inner healing. And so it just seems like you have, been doing the work. You have, been getting in touch with yourself. And I think it's super important for a lot of people right now to really tap in and, get to know who they really are, because
Right.
then they can glow up and grow up, right? And that's what you're looking like, honey, all glowed up, looking amazing.
Thank you,
So,
girl.
yes. So, Courtney, would you tell people a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so of course, my name is Courtney Clark. I am a mother to a 15-year-old son. I am from Oglethorpe, Georgia. It's a very small country town, so I'm a country girl, most definitely. Pretty much been here my whole life. Very family oriented. I absolutely love. I love being around like-minded individuals. I'm all about women empowerment. I found a new love for writing. I'm currently in my healing season. It has been a very long season, although we know healing is a life journey.
Yeah.
So we're going to forever be healing from something. But when you know you've gotten better, that's the part that matters the most. When you're able to see your growth and allowing the things that you go through to pretty much give you that fuel that you need, that jet power to go into the person that God has called you to be. So yes, I absolutely love it here.
What you say? I love the space I'm in, and I'm telling you,
And I do.
and that's a powerful place to be in, Courtney. And let's just be clear with people. Just because you may not be where you want to be doesn't mean you can't enjoy the space that you're currently in, right?
That's right. Being able to accept yourself where you are and where you were. Because where you were, I just made a post about it this morning, but like where you were, literally has set the tone for where you are now, which will help you to work on where you're trying to go or who it is that you're trying to become.
I love it. I love it. And you spoke about, who God has created you to be. And, when you listen to the old people tell you stories and all that, it's like being on the potter's wheel when you're trying to take that clay and form it into something beautiful. Sometimes there's going to be some flaws in there. Sometimes you're going to have to smooth out
Yes.
some rough spots. Sometimes you're going to have to break that thing down and start again. But bottom line, it is still you, the old you, the current you, the new you. All of it is still you. And once you embrace who you are, that's the beautiful journey. That's when you can really say, you know what? Hey, I'm proud of myself. Not necessarily to say that everything I've done has been something that, I wanted to do, or that, I didn't make bad decisions, because all of us have. But you learn
Right.
from that. And like you said, in order to, you start growing as a result of some of the things that you've done, experiences that you've had. And then if you're blessed like you have been, then you can see that glow, and people can tell the difference. It's just like, something about you just very calming and very, centered and grounded, so that when people talk to you, they realize that maybe I can go through my own journey and seek my own inner healing,
Yes.
the best version
Yes.
of myself. And I love that you have,
Yes.
taken that stance to let people know that that's what you want to do, help not only yourself, but others.
That's right. You're absolutely right. And it's crazy you say that. Well, it's not even crazy. But when you said that about sometimes the clay fall apart, right?
Girl.
I heard Corrine Hawthorne new single Start From Scratch a
Mm,
few days ago. And the song just pulled me in and I resonated with it so much because I feel like that's where God has me right now. Like he
yeah.
literally let me hit rock bottom. Like I'm not ashamed to say it. Like he literally let me hit rock bottom because it was like I'm giving everything and everyone else the attention instead of
Mm,
giving it to myself, instead of giving it to him, you know. And it was his way of saying, you're not listening. I'm gonna make you listen. You're not paying attention. I'm gonna make you pay attention. So it's like starting from scratch. He's
yeah.
making me start from scratch. And the average person, they would be depressed about it, down about it, sad
Mhm.
about it, but no ma'am, not me. Is actually beautiful. Is beautiful. The more I think about some of the toughest battles that I've fought,
Mhm.
even in silence, and things that I went through that I've bounced back from, like I always come back. I always bounce back. I don't stay down. It can't keep me down. It don't matter who try, how the enemy tries to intervene, tries to come in. No. And even when it comes to the enemy, sometimes it's not the enemy, sometimes it's us. you
Yes.
know Sometimes we choose to make certain choices and decisions, and in the moment of making those choices and decisions, we don't realize just how detrimental it would be to us in the long run. And so that's where he put me at. But to be able to look back and say, okay, so you made this choice, you made this decision, okay, and these are the consequences from that. So what are you learning from it? And then
Mm.
when you don't learn that lesson, baby, he will
Ooh.
allow it to repeat itself. But
Yeah.
he'll give it to you. See, God, I be looking up at God. I be like, here, really, bro? Really? Because he has a way of doing things just very peculiar. The
Mhm.
way he brings certain people and situations about, the way he puts it in front of you, and
Yeah.
he would allow the same lesson he was trying to teach you from the beginning. He'll allow the lesson to come back up in a different person
Mm.
or a different situation or just a whole different scenario. Because I'm finna give you this test. I'm gonna see you failed the test the last time, so I'm finna give it to you again, and eventually you'll be able to get to the point where you can pass the final.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? You know how you in
Yes.
school, they give you that practice test, and then
Yes.
give you the practice quiz, and then they're gonna give you another test, they're gonna be that chapter test, and then after that chapter test, you got that final, and that final
Mhm.
gonna be the kicker. The final
Exactly.
gonna be the kicker. That what gonna determine everything. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying? So just being able to look at that, and that's just where I'm at right now, from scratch, starting from
Mhm.
scratch. But it's not ugly. It's beautiful. The very thing that you think is ugly is beautiful. It's
I
very
love it.
beautiful. Yeah.
I love it. It's the and you said so much in there, so we're gonna kind of try and break it down, but let's start with that because man's ways are not like God's ways. So the things that we think are ugly, it's beautiful to God. And when we can see ourselves and our situations like he sees us, that's when the game starts shifting. Because a lot of times we get so caught up in, the failed relationships or, the jacked up finances or, not getting what we think we want. We get so caught up and stuck in the what we consider to be failures, that
Right.
it keeps us from enjoying the experience that we call life. But when you take the
Right.
time to really spend some quality time, you know, our lives are so fast paced and it's going, going, going. But when you take some time to be still, when you take some time to really try to figure out, okay, I keep going through this same issue. What is it? God, show me what I need to be getting so that I don't keep repeating. And when you can spend some time, it just come to you sometime like boom, and you like, now it makes sense. Okay, now I get it. You know, and we hard headed. You know, sometimes it'll take us years. You know, and you like, Lord, why I keep getting the same old thing over and over. But we gotta get the lesson. You know, it's just part of life. You gotta get it, and you know,
He your daddy for real. He your daddy for real, baby. He will tell you up.
yes,
He do
honey.
not
Listen,
play.
some of us are in tune and some of us learn early, and you know how some little kids, they be like, baby, you ain't got to spank me too many times because I got it the first time. I know what you say, stove hot, don't
Exactly.
touch it. We say don't do that, don't do that. Okay, I'm not gonna do it. Then you got others who,
I'm finna try it anyway. It
baby,
hurt the
I'm
first
trying
time, but I'm still
anyway.
gonna run back and touch it. I'm still gonna run back and touch
Exactly.
it.
Look, Billy Bad behind be want to go out
That
there and be
me.
like, look, okay, but you can't tell me what to do. I'm gonna do what I want to do. And we got to learn that it's not about what we want. Life is, I mean, you can have the desires of your heart, but you got to be in alignment with what God wants you to
That's
do
right.
in this earth. And so when you get in alignment, life becomes smoother. But because we don't want to do that, we want to just do what we want to do when we want to do it.
Right.
And that's the thing that makes it ugly. That's the thing that makes it difficult. But when you can get to a point where you just like, you know what, God, not my will, but your will. Whatever it is, give me the ability to handle it. Help me to heal from the things that I don't even want to talk about. Help me to heal from the things that I thought I got away with, but you still spanking my behind on. Help me to, be able to get through that. So, Courtney, for you,
Right.
how did you learn to do all of that and express yourself through writing?
Um, Walking away from my relationship, my marriage, you know, which once was a very touchy subject, but now I count it all joy.
Mhm.
So just being able to walk away from that and being able to accept what is, and to go through the different stages of grief. And when I say I went through the stages of grief, the acceptance, the depression, the anger, the denial, the bargaining, where maybe if I had done this, maybe this would
Mhm.
have worked out, or this would
Right.
have been like this. The anger, like asking like why.
Yeah.
And more so getting to a place where I'm beating myself up about it, because like, why did you accept the treatment? Why did you allow this? Why did you allow that?
Mhm.
Um, and it was hard, and just not being able to share with family and friends a lot of what had went on and was going on. And just mainly just having to sit in it by myself,
Yeah.
and not being able to have that conversation with my son, although him and we have talked about it, since then. But at first, I was somewhat scared to talk to
Mhm.
him about it. But the crazy part about it is he already knew. He
Wow.
already saw. He just never spoke to me about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he knew. And that was hard for me to hear, because the thing about it, I wanted to be the one to protect him from hurt and from pain and from, neglect. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I
Right.
wanted to be the one to protect him from that, and I couldn't. And I tell anyone, my marriage wasn't all bad. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? I got a lot of great things from it. A lot of lessons, and a lot of blessings came from it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, and things just ended up the way that it did. But having to like sit by myself and deal with all that hurt, and to face all that pain, it was very lonely. It was uncomfortable. It was unfamiliar. It was unsettling in my spirit, and it did not feel good. It
Yeah.
did not feel good. And I realized a lot of people, especially our people, we'll sit in that pain, not sit in that pain, um we'll keep going, we'll ignore it, we won't face
Mhm.
it because we don't want to feel it,
Right.
and that's scary to not want to feel pain, because guess what, whatever is in you is going to come out, so it's going to come back up because it's going to be something else that you got to heal from, and it just added on to the other thing that you didn't heal from. You see what I'm saying? And it's just
Exactly.
causing a domino effect, a butterfly effect, and it just keep going and keep spreading to your kids and their kids and their kids, and it's just an ongoing cycle, and right now in my life where God has placed me at, I'm just very big on generational curses, baby. It
Mm,
gotta stop somewhere. It
yeah.
gotta stop somewhere, and it stops with me. It stops
Come
with
on,
me.
Courtney. That's right. I love the declaration that it stops with you. And I want to go
Mm-hmm.
back a little bit because you said that, you were trying to protect your son, but he already knew. And I think that is like, a real the reality for a lot of people. We go through things and stay in things sometimes longer than we have to or that we need to, calling ourselves protecting somebody, protecting the children, when a lot of times they already know, they already see things, they already hear things. We don't know that because we're busy being in it, but they really see things. And so uh, a lot of times, what we think we're doing for the best may not necessarily be for the best of everybody involved. Maybe, again,
Yes,
like you
I,
said, and that's in anything in life. I recently went through, some health challenges and, just thinking about, had I put the work in earlier, had I did what I was supposed to, maybe had I taken these pills before or eaten better, or exercised more, I wouldn't be in this space. But,
right,
when it's time to take this shot or when it's time to do something, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. But it's a decision. I should have either did it before. I got to suck it up and do it now in order to get better on the other end, right?
right,
And so that's the thing. We don't want to do the hard thing, but it takes the hard thing in order for you to get to a place where there is no more pain, there is no more hurt, there is no more depression or loneliness or unforgiveness or whatever. You got to go through to get to the other side. Otherwise, you're just
right.
in there and nothing is working for you.
Right. Exactly. You're absolutely right. And I had a guy that asked me to tell me this morning that he was like, I just want to get what he lost. And because I'm like, look, I just went through my divorce, and he's like, oh well, I just want to get what he lost. And then I said, I understand that. I said, but guess what? She's still trying to find her.
Mm,
Like I'm still trying to find me, you
yes,
know. And
exactly.
not that I'm against dating in my healing season, but I definitely gotta move a little different this time. And not a little different, but a lot different. I gotta move a lot different. I gotta use my discernment more. I gotta pay attention to red flags more, my intuition more.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy that I really been sleeping on my intuition for years. God
Mm,
had been gave me that gift and I ignored it because my heart wanted me to see the best. Your intuition is the God in you. It's the
yeah.
spirit in you. You know
Mm,
what I'm saying? But
mhm,
your heart is them feelings and that potential that you
mhm.
want to see.
Yeah.
I want to see the best. So I'm gonna ignore this red flag over here because I want to
Mhm.
see the best in them. So I'm going to ignore that. I'm just going to tuck that up under the rug, and I'm just going to go with the potential for now.
Yeah.
And it comes back to bite you. So I ignored it for years, but I'm at a place now where I'm very much self-aware.
Yeah.
Not perfect now, but very much self-aware. And
Yeah.
so knowing that is just allows me to pay pay attention more. Just pay
Right.
attention more. Yeah.
Right. I think as a society, we're very quick to see red flags, but not let it stop us. When you're driving down the road and you come to a stoplight and it's red, okay, let me stop. Because if I don't and keep through, maybe somebody's going to sideswipe me. I'm going to cause an accident. Maybe I'm going to get hurt or die, or the person, that is involved in the accident with me. Some of the things that could happen by you running a red light. So 9 times out of 10, you stop because you see that, or a stop sign, you stop. Go ahead.
And not, yes, and guess what? I'm gonna give you another perspective. Because it says stop, don't mean that eventually you can't go.
Yes.
Eventually it's going to turn green. So that means if I see this red flag, I'm going to call you out on this
Mm-hmm.
red flag, and we're going
Mm-hmm.
to address this and see what can be
Mm-hmm.
done about it. And not just you saying what can be done about it. I got to see some action behind it. So
Right.
if we can get this red flag to turn green, then it's a go. It's a go. You know what I'm saying? But as far as just
Mhm.
ignoring it and sweeping under the rug, that is the thing that we cannot continue to do.
Yes. And it's like, the definition of insanity. You're doing the same thing over and over
Over
again,
and over again,
expecting
expecting the
different
same.
results. Exactly.
Yes.
Expecting the same, the thing
Yes.
about it is, if you continue to ignore red flags, and that's what you've always done, you can't expect to be in good situations. And again, like you said, it's the God in you, your intuition. We were given that for a purpose, because if you trust in what's inside of you, it's going to already tell you. Most times when people ask you questions about things, you know the answer. We might say, I don't know, I'm not sure, I didn't realize, but really and truly, you kind of had a feeling, you kind of had a little thought like, yeah, but
Hmm.
you wanted it, like you said, your heart, those feelings, those emotions, you let it override
Right.
intuition. When,
Right.
again, like you said, when you come to a stop sign, that don't mean you got to sit there for the rest of your life. You look both ways, make sure nothing's coming, and then you take your time and go. You don't just sit there forever because it's one stop sign, and now I can't move forward and do anything. But it does require you to be aware of the surroundings, be aware of what the stop sign was making you stop for, and make sure that you're not going to
Right.
put yourself in a bad situation. Once you
Right.
address it, which is stop, looking both ways, make sure everything is good, then you move forward. And it just
Right.
requires us to, show up in a different way.
That's right. That's right. And the thing about it, you can have, a strong intuition, like we said, that's the God in you. And the thing about it, when you ignore your tuition, that means you're ignoring God. And then later on we be like, well, God didn't show. Yes, he did. He showed you the whole time. But guess what? He'll show us something, but he'll also give us free will.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So if you choose free will, then that's on you. We can't blame God for that.
Exactly. That is so powerful, and I hope people, really take time to think about this, because in life, there's things that have, caused you to pump your brakes. It's kind of like God saying, okay, pump your brakes. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to show you. But then you wonder why people get into bad situations, if you continue to run the red light, yes, you may have ran the red light a few times and nothing happened, but it's that one time too many.
Hmm.
And that's when your car totaled. Maybe you done messed up yourself, and it's never gonna, it either lead to death or lead to you, being handicapped for the rest of your life. But it started because you felt like, child, ain't nobody, I'm gonna run this red light, or I don't feel like sitting here waiting. I'm gonna go around these people, and we put ourselves in a lot of bad situations.
We
And
do.
then
We
when
do.
the bad consequence comes, now we want to blame somebody, but it's a history and a pattern that we've established ourselves.
We do. We do. We do. We do. And and I tell people, I had a conversation the other night about this. You know, I I have control over, and I'm responsible for how I treat you and the things that I say to you and how I respond to you. I
Mm-hmm.
have control over that. You have control over how you treat me, what you say to me, how you choose to respond to me.
Yeah.
You have that. So not at all am I dismissing for someone's mistreatment of me. However, I have to take responsibility and accountability for the things that I chose to allow.
Yeah.
It's if you done showed me what it is you really think of me and how you feel about me, if you done showed me that was still my choice to be able to say, I'm gonna stay here and just, put up with it, or I'm gonna
Mhm.
exit the building, like that was on me.
Exactly. And I love it because, bottom line, when you start experiencing maturity and growth, then you make those decisions that benefit you the most.
That's
It's
right.
like self-care. It's like, when you love you, you make decisions that are going to be good for you, not bad for you. You make decisions, and it's not about, hurting somebody else. It's not about any of that. You just have to make sure that in your free will, you take those choices and make them work for you.
That's
And
right.
sometimes we feel like we're missing out, or you don't think that this opportunity, how sometimes you be like, oh, girl, I got a good job offer. Everything that's good may not be good for you. That's the
And that's
thing.
what I was just saying. Every good idea is not a God idea.
Boom, that part. And that's what we have to take some consideration for. So, really, when you start talking about inner healing, when you start talking about, spending time with you to get to know who you are, because a lot of times we don't even, want to look at ourselves in the mirror, much less really take time to get to know who we are. Sometimes, you've been drinking coffee for so long, you don't even realize that I really would rather drink tea. I really
Right.
would rather sip on some water, whatever that is. But you got so caught up in somebody else and what they do, or following the crowd. You go to the job, everybody getting coffee, so it's there. You get it. That doesn't mean you take
We
it.
we succumb so much to other people's opinions of us
Yes,
in society. Ooh, don't get me started with that. You know,
yes.
and you don't even know yourself because and that's the thing I've been trying to teach my son. You want to wear the latest shoes and clothes, like your peers and stuff like,
Mm-hmm.
mama, we don't do that. Who is we? I'm not stunned by no doggone we. I'm talking about you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about we. It's about you. You need to know who you are outside of your peers and your friends and your homeboys and your homegirls. You need to know who you are. Like I did that for years. I did
Yeah.
that for years, trying to be like everybody else. I didn't know who the hell I was.
Right.
Seriously, I'm just trying to fit
Mm-hmm.
in and do what I think is popular,
Mm-hmm.
and all of that. And if you notice, most of the time what's right is not is it and people look over that,
Mm-hmm.
but things
Mm-hmm.
things that are like messy and negative and trifling, those are
Yes.
the things that people pay attention to, or people that they consider popular that's doing things like based off the car they drive, the house they live in,
Yes.
and things like that those are the things and the people that gets the most attention. But when
Yeah.
you choose to be authentic, and when you're authentic, that don't mean you do everything right, and that don't mean you do everything good. However, when you're authentic, that means you're you. You're you, good, bad, flaws, and all. Like you're you, and you're not ashamed about it. You're not unapologetic about it. And that's why I'm big on telling people, like, I don't care who bring up something from my past. Like I don't care about that. Like when you know who you are and you walk in your truth,
Mm-hmm.
baby, you are powerful. You are a yeah.
A
And that's
force
just
to
the
be
kind of
reckoned with,
attitude.
baby. A force to be reckoned with. When
That's
you realize
right.
who you are, oh, can't nobody stop you. The power becomes yours. You release your power when you try to be like everybody else. When
That's
you
right.
stop trying to be yourself, now you've given your power to somebody else because they control you, what you wear, how you talk, where you go, who you hang out with. All of those things become you're living somebody else's life. And
That's
so
right.
you start realizing, wait, I need to be able to go through life for me and what I
Right.
want. And if everybody want to go over here to this party, and something inside of me is saying, not tonight. You need to stay at the house and chill. It's okay to stay at the house and chill because
That's
you never
right.
know what you're being protected from. And even if nothing happens, maybe nothing happened because you weren't there. Maybe you would
That's
have been
right.
had you showed up. That's when something would have happened. So you can't ever take for granted following your instincts and doing what makes you happy. And it's
That's
not
right.
selfish.
That's right.
It's not selfish. You got to learn who you are, embrace who you are, because we're uniquely made. There's no two people alike on the planet, even twins or triplets. They may look alike, but they're not alike. They're still individual people. So you got to be able to embrace who God created you to be, whatever that
That's
looks
right.
like. And just because you grew up in a family where everybody listened to the same kind of music, if that ain't your music, it's just not what you want to hear.
That's
And
right. Oh, and this one right here. 'Cause that That how my mom and daddy raised me. We not at the same time as when mom and daddy were raising us. I can't
Mhm.
raise my son how my mama raised me and how my daddy raised me. I got to
Mhm.
do something different. You know what I'm saying? Like that
Exactly.
have worked for them, and they use what they had and what they knew, the knowledge that was given to them. That's what they used to do the best that they can with what they had.
Mhm.
So it's different now. Yes, I'm still instilling those same moral code, and values. I'm still instilling that. I'm gonna share this right here because if any other parents watching, especially black parents, and they may have a child that they could relate.
Mhm.
He has the notion of, if I ask him certain things, like I'm gonna tell you, I asked him one day. I said, "McCorian, how you feel about me having a boyfriend?" So he looks at me. He like, "More, I don't care." He was like, long as he don't mistreat you, or talk to you or do you any kind of way, because I'm gonna have to step. He said, but I don't care. He said, you asking me that white folk stuff. Yes, yes, he say stuff like that. And another example, he'll say, Mom, please don't start acting and talking like these white people. I'm like, McCorian, it's not a black or white thing, baby. It's
Right.
not a black or white thing. I said, me asking about how do you feel about me having a boyfriend is because your feelings matter to me.
Yes.
You witnessed me go through a lot in my last relationship,
Mhm.
and that's something that I can't go back and change, and I can't go back and do it over. However, moving forward, I care about what you think. I care about your feelings when it comes to that,
Mhm.
because what you saw changes the narrative in your mind as to what
Right.
it looks like with a man loving your mom. That
Yes.
changes the narrative. So what you saw may make you feel like, all on, it ain't no good men out there. I don't want my
Right.
mama with now because I know what I'm gonna do, like that type of mindset, so I'm explaining
Mhm.
it to him. And then far as like the talking and acting, like I'm like, baby, having manners, speaking properly, using proper language,
Yes.
and wording. I said that's not a black or white thing, baby. That should be a normal thing. I said any
Mhm.
race. I said white people can be ghetto just like black people can be ghetto.
Yes.
I said
Yes.
Mexican people can be ghetto. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? I said black people can be rude just like white people can be rude. I said it's not a
Right.
race thing. I said you got to remove the color lines. It has
Mhm.
nothing to do with that. And I don't know where he get that from. Like I don't know where that concept came from in his mind. I have absolutely no idea.
Mm. But you know what, Courtney,
So
I'm glad you put that out there because we have to start normalizing understanding that we're all humans and it doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter whether you're rich or poor. It doesn't matter, what state you grew up in. We all have experiences and we're all going to be who we were or created to be. So
that's
at the end
right.
of the day, whether you talk a certain way or not, it's people who use a whole bunch of slang, but they have a high IQ. It's people who, drive great cars, but they are nasty and mean and rude. They may have a lot of money. You can't base, somebody's lifestyle on the kind of person that they are or whether they're behaving
Right.
like one culture or another culture. And we got to
Right.
normalize that. Stop stereotyping people because we do it so quickly. We do it so
We
easily. We
do. We
stereotype
do.
people,
We
and let
do.
me go back to what you were saying about how we because I thought about reality shows and things. It's like people don't want to see positivity. People want
Mm-mm.
to the people who get the highest ratings are the ones who act the biggest fools. The ones who get the most aggressive, or they gossiping, or they fighting, or they're doing. Those are the people who get the most highest ratings, not the people who come on there to talk about becoming a better you. You want to get the dirt. That's the stuff. When you look at videos on any type TikTok or whatever, the ones that got the most hype or whatever, those are the ones that people want to look at. So we like being entertained, but not necessarily educated. We like seeing things that are negative, without promoting things that are positive. And we got to
Right.
normalize it to be where these things are not what we're trying to support. We're supporting things that make you want to grow and make you want to be better and help you to become mature and make better decisions. Those are the things that we should be normalizing. Instead, it's always that. Did you hear that? Did you hear about this person? Oh, girl, did you see?
Yeah, and you know they said she such and such, and you know they said him and her such and such. Yes, that's it. That's it.
Mhm.
And it goes to the saying, people will believe a lie before they believe the truth.
That is so true. But a lot of that is because people aren't healed. And so I want to shift a little bit to talk about your latest journal. Can you share with them
Okay.
the name of it and what made you decide to create it?
Okay, so the name of my new published journal, which is on lulu.com and Amazon, is called Soul for Healing, your guide to inner peace journal. And what made me come up with the idea to get a journal published is because journaling has been pivotal for me during
Mm-hmm.
my healing season. So I've been real heavy on it. Um, but this year I got real heavy on it. So back in I think it was probably around mid January maybe. Um I I was listening to it's a gospel song. What is her name? When it comes on, she's saying that God will use you to shape you.
Mm-hmm.
He will, just to take you through all, these different things to get you. He's not hurting you. He's making you Tasha Cobbs.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Tasha Cobbs. I can't think of what song it was, but anyway, I was pulling up in my yard, and to my knowledge, I wasn't feeling no type of way. Like I wasn't feeling sad or anything, but I have what I call a healing playlist. And I
Mm,
listen to it every morning and sometimes, throughout the day. Sometimes I be on my ratchet stuff now,
right,
Um
right.
so but
Gotta have
every day
balance.
I listen to my healing playlist every morning, to start my day. And that just happened to be on a I want to say that was on a Sunday. It might have been a weekday, I can't remember. Long story short, I'm pulling up in my driveway and that was playing. And so when it started playing and she was talking and I was hearing what she was saying, um I just started crying. Like,
Hmm.
and I hadn't cried in so long at that time. It had been a long while since I cried.
Yeah.
And at that particular time, I don't know what it was in my spirit, but I cried, I cried.
Hmm.
Like I literally cried like somebody had died. Like that's literally how I cried. And Chelsea, I
Mhm.
FaceTime Chelsea. And she answered and she just let me cry. She just let me cry. And then she asked me, um, she said, sis, talk to me. She said, you calm now, talk to me. She was like, what's going on? And I told her that I was tired. And she asked me what was it that I was tired of. And I told her repeating the same cycles.
Hmm.
I'm tired of repeating the same cycles. I gotta do something different. Like,
Yeah.
girl, what are you doing? Get your life in order. I'm tired
Right.
of repeating the same cycles over and over again. And the thing about it, Jonathan McReynolds has a song called Cycles. Whoever is watching this, I need you to go listen to that. Go listen to that Tasha Cobb song. I think of the name of it in a minute. But listen to Jonathan McReynolds' Cycles. And he talks about how the devil knows your cycles.
Wow.
Yeah, he knows your cycles.
Hmm.
So any which way that he can show up in front of you as one of your cycles that'll trigger you to succumb to that and to give in to that, he will do just that, you know. And that's what I was crying, telling her. I'm like, I'm tired of making the same mistakes. I'm tired of repeating the same thing. Like this cannot be life. This
Yeah.
cannot be life. And in that moment, that particular day, in that particular moment, it shifted something in me. It shifted my spirit, my way of thinking, just everything. And she was like, I want you to write. I want you to write everything that you're feeling. She
Mm-hmm.
said the good, the bad, and the ugly. She said, I don't care if there's some you saying you hate somebody. She said, I don't care what it is. I want you to write it. I
Yeah.
want you to get it out and get it out on paper. So that really made me go harder in the journaling. Like I journaled all last year after making the transition from separating from my ex-husband.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't an everyday thing.
Right.
So after that particular encounter with Chelsea that day, I started journaling every day. I started off with it being a 21-day challenge.
Mm-hmm.
No, I started off as a 30-day challenge, and then after I completed the 30-day, I went into a 21-day, and I just continued, and I've just continued. So I've gotten to the point now where I journal in the morning, um, and sometimes I journal at night before bed. So
Mm.
sometimes it be twice in a day that I journal, and that's just how much I love it. It's calmness for me. But
Yeah.
my journal is pretty much that's what prompted me to create the journal. So
Gotcha.
the journal is a prompt journal. So the questions that's in the journal are questions that force you, allows you to really sit with yourself and to
Mm-hmm.
think about yourself and to really help you find yourself. Because again, like we stated earlier, a lot of people don't know themselves. They
Right.
know themselves as the way that other people see them.
Yes, that's true.
And don't get me wrong, I love how other people see me, especially those that know my deepest darkest secrets, or
Mm-hmm.
and the negative things that they know about me, or my toxic ways, or you know what I'm saying. Like
Right.
I love that, and I do value that. People that I know that love me, and they still love me and appreciate me still, even knowing those things.
Yeah.
However, the most important thing is the way that you know yourself, and the way that you see yourself, and the way that God sees yourself. That is the very thing that a person should allow to validate them. And so
Mm.
those questions in my journal, that helps with that, because it's questions that we don't typically answer on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
You really gonna have to think when you read the question. You're gonna
Yeah.
have to think and sit with it.
That's good. And I want to go back because I don't want to miss out on what you mentioned earlier about generational curses. Can you speak a little bit
Okay.
about that?
Um, Generational curses, and I mean that on a financial level,
Mm-hmm.
a spiritual level, um, mentally, emotionally, um, to the point of being easily offended by things that are said or things that are done.
Yeah.
Um, I mean that on the level of relationships. Um, to my understanding, I think I may make the second person in my family that I know of that left a relationship or marriage that was detrimental to their health. And when
Mm.
I say health, I mean mentally,
Yeah.
spiritually, physically,
Mm.
emotionally, on every aspect, you
Right.
know. Um, and this is on my mom's side, I mean. So yeah, I'm the first or second woman, in my family. I walked away, and people judge, people
Yeah.
throw the Bible at you,
Mm.
they throw God at you, and I'm very big on the God that I serve, the God that I know. He wouldn't want me to suffer for longevity, just to be able to
Yeah.
say, okay, I stayed with this person 40, 50 years. I
Right.
suffered the first 30, 40. Like, no,
Right.
I can't. Yeah, like I cannot. I
Yes.
cannot, and so many people stay in relationships that are not good for them because of the longevity and because
Yes.
of the children. You deserve to be happy. And when your children get older and they leave you, they leave out your nest and
Because
go
they
live
will.
their life.
They
Yes.
will.
Yes, and then you're going to be able to look back, and you're going to live, with regret. However, if you do the thing that is best for you, that is doing the thing that is best for the child. Because
Yes.
no child will want their mother or their father suffering. They may
Okay.
not quite understand it. They might can't quite grasp it right now. But years later, when they older, oh, I see why my mom left, or I see why my daddy did this, or you know
Mhm.
what I'm saying. They'll be able to look back and see that. You
Exactly.
know what I'm saying? So I promote healthy relationships, and like even moving forward in the dating world, everything that I'm requiring from my person,
Mm-hmm.
I want to already be that. I don't
Mm.
want to ask my person for nothing that I don't have,
Right.
or that I can't give him. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, and wherever we're short at, we can kind of make up for it. We can balance each other out.
Mhm.
So the goal is to help each other. So yeah, generational curses, just healthy relationships, even with your family members. Like it's a lot of tension and jealousy and things within the family because people won't speak up, or people are just plain just rude. And I've never quite understood why, or people trying to protect other people's feelings.
Yeah.
So it's not about protecting people's feelings, it's about how you say something. It's not
Right.
about what you say, but how you say something.
Absolutely.
Which I would rather for you to say something than to not say nothing at all. And here you go, you're walking around with all of this resentment and tension
Mm.
and ill feelings on the inside
Yeah.
because you're not able to maturely express yourself like an adult. And
Yeah.
baby, when I say I'm the most unapologetic I've ever been in my whole entire life, because I walked around on eggshells for so long and not
Yeah.
wanting to speak on things,
Mm-hmm.
to speak on things. And so like I'm real, you know, big about that now. And even like with my mom, it's kind of like I'm raising her now. That's how I be feeling sometimes because I be, teaching her stuff and trying to
Mm-hmm.
tell her stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times, they kind of be stuck in their ways, like trying to teach an old dog new tricks.
Yep. True.
So I have to get to a place where I'm able to extend her grace, and I'm able to
Yes.
say, okay, mama not getting it, but I can't stress about that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because I've done my part. So at this point, the best thing that I can do for my mom is to make my life the best life that I can
Mm.
make it.
I love that. I love it.
And so
Especially
that's where I'm
extending
at.
grace. Especially
Yeah,
extending grace to people because you can't make other people live their life in a different manner. You can give them advice, you can show them love, you can do all these things. But if they choose to stay in the place that they're at, you have to give them grace for where they are,
right,
but still be able to move on. And another thing
right.
too, that you mentioned about, just holding things in and walking on eggshells. What tends to happen is you hold things in for so long that when that breaking point comes, sometimes you're snapping not about the little thing that just happened, but you're going way back from years of when you didn't say something or addressing stuff that has nothing to do with this moment, but you want to go way back and
Yes.
bring it to it because you never,
Yes.
it's like when you boil in water, at some point the water gonna have to turn to steam and it's gonna come out, when the
That's
temperature
right.
is high enough, and it's gonna release itself. So same thing with us. When you hold your emotions in, when you don't talk, people wonder like, dang, why you blow up like that? Because I've been holding something in for a long long time and you just the one that got it. That's not fair to the
It is
person
not.
who got it when maybe what you're upset about has nothing to do with them. So we got to normalize saying what's on our mind. And like you said,
Yes.
what you say is how you say it. People can receive things
I
better than what you
literally,
expect.
exactly. And I literally did a video last week, Angela. And I was talking about, did you know that our trauma shows up whatever age we were at that time,
Mm-hmm.
when people trigger us or a situation triggers us, that's who we show up as. So
Wow.
the 11-year-old girl got molested. I got molested at the age of 11. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? So somebody may trigger me, sexually. Like it could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I go off on them. That's that 11-year-old girl. that
Mm.
was molested. That's her showing up. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So it's just like different things that trigger us today. And we show up as our 10-year-old self, as our 20-year-old self, as
Wow.
our 30-year-old self. You know, we show up that age, the age we were of that trauma, and we
Mm-hmm.
didn't do anything about it. That's who we show up as.
Mm.
That's who we
That's
show up as.
That's powerful. But again, now that speaks to when people blow up, you got to give them grace because you got to understand that maybe something traumatic happened at an age where they couldn't express themselves. And that ain't to say that you just let everybody beat up on you and throw up on you and cut you when you know you haven't deserved it. But at the same time, you got to see where people are and understand and give them grace, especially when you know they've got unresolved things. And that goes back to spending time with yourself, knowing what your triggers are, dealing with the things that have happened to you back in the past that, you know, heal that 11-year-old girl, heal that 20-year-old woman, heal that 30-year-old man, whatever that looks like for you. You got to take the time to heal that person at the age where they were so that they can move forward and grow and mature into who they're supposed to become.
That's right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I seen this video on Instagram and it was so powerful. It was I want to say maybe five maybe 5 glasses of water.
Mm-hmm.
In the first glass, it was dirty water.
Mm.
I'm trying to remember how they did it. It was dirty water. Then they took the last glass and they just kept pouring it over, pouring it over, pouring it over until the water became clean. So that was
Mm.
that generational curse. You
Wow.
know, great grandma and them had them pass down all that trauma, all that
Mhm.
pain, all
Mm.
that hurt, all that damage. They had
Right.
been passing it down generation after generation after generation to that one person, that one person in the lineage. She came along and she took everybody pain. She felt everything. She felt everything. She
Mm.
did. And that's me. That's me. I'm feeling everything for everybody, including myself.
Mm.
Because I don't want to pass it to my son. I don't want him to pass it to his son or his daughter or her
Right.
daughter. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah.
That's powerful when you think about it. I mean, somebody has to make a decision that we're not going to keep passing this dirty cup, this dirty water. We got to replace it with something good, something positive, something clean. Because again, like you say, the more you pour clean water on top of dirty water, eventually all the dirty water will eventually start rising up and spilling over until
That's
after that
right.
it's clean water. And so I love the analogy. So Courtney, tell me this, because I know that, you know, even though you have the journal, I mean, you have been on a writing streak. You've been in anthologies, you know, you've been doing some different things. So speaking engagements, I mean, it's like the lid has been removed and you're just going for it. What makes you what is exciting you at this particular point in time of your life?
It's so much. Even in the midst of knowing and being aware of the things that I do continuously need to work on within myself.
Mhm.
I am so beyond proud of this woman. Oh my God.
Yes,
I
yes.
am so proud and so ecstatic and so unapologetic and just I am. Angela, to know me, to truly know me is to love me. To truly know me is to embrace me.
Yeah.
To see where I've come from,
Uh-huh.
like way beyond what you even think that you know about me. Girl,
We said, let's just
it
sit
is
there right there. Let me just sit this right here. Yes.
it's amazing. It's
Mm,
amazing. And I'm so proud of me. If no one else tells me, I'm proud of me.
it's
I
good.
am so proud of me. And it's like everything that I have set out to do, I accomplish it. It's like I accomplish it, you know. And lately, God has been opening so many doors and giving me so many opportunities. I don't be knowing which way to go. I don't. I just flow. I
Mm,
just flow. You know, he's been putting so many different things, and dropping different things in my spirit. And I know that it's him. It's him that's giving it to me. I know that it's him that's giving it to me. And it's really been in me all along. He just needed me to be at a certain place in my
mm,
life before he presented it to me.
that's
And
good.
so that's where he has me right now. And right now he has me in a chokehold, baby. He said, I'm gonna sit you right here and I'm finna give you this vision. And this is where I want you to start at. So right now he's giving me my vision, which is going to be used for my ministry.
Mm,
People are my ministry. That's through my writing, my books, the magazines, the shows, the life coach business, the therapy,
mm.
the nonprofit organizations that I'm working on right now. Baby, when I tell you,
Come on, Court.
yes, and it's for the people. It's not even for me. My gifts aren't for me. It's for the people. It's for the people, and I'm gonna give it to them today. Everybody ain't gonna like it, but the ones that it's meant for, it's gonna change their world. It is. It's gonna change their world.
Absolutely amazing. And I'm here for it all. I cannot wait to see the impact because, the things that you've gone through have put you in a position to where you can give so much back to other people,
That's
as you're
right.
talking to them, through your writing, like you say, or on a show, or, through the nonprofit, or, through the therapy. All the things that have happened to you have positioned you to have the wisdom to share with somebody else.
Yes.
So, Courtney, how can people get in contact with you?
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I'm everywhere.
What you said, baby? I'm everywhere, honey. So look me up.
Yes.
Make sure you follow Courtney because I'm telling you, she is such a gem. She has such a beautiful spirit. She has such a big heart for helping people. Courtney, it's almost time for us to go. What would you like to say to the audience before we end the broadcast?
Um, I want to say heal. I'm gonna share this one last thing. My friends had got me out yesterday to go hiking. I finalized my divorce on this past Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been wanting to cry all week, and not because I'm sad, but a lot of times things be kind of underlined too, and you don't realize. But I
Yeah.
just felt like I needed to cry, I needed to release. So all week I've been wanting to cry and just could not do it. I just could not do it. So then we went hiking yesterday. We went to Indian Springs State Park, and we went hiking yesterday. And as we sat there by the water, we had our feet in the water, and we just sitting there just chilling, just talking, just embracing each other. Do you know them tears just
Wow. Star
it,
falling.
it just it just flowed. I'm talking about out of nowhere. My cousin, she was like, "You okay?" And she embraced me. She just went to hugging me, rubbing me, and they didn't press me about what was wrong, was anything I want to talk about. They just let me cry. And I got it out. And it felt like a relief. It felt like a burden had been lifted. And I told him, I said, I came here and got exactly what I needed.
Amen.
Nature is healing. Nature brings you closer to God. Water brings you closer to God. Even I had a bad sinus infection the past 2 weeks, like it just won't go away. When I tell you, since I left there, I've been
Oh
feeling
my
so much better. I'm talking about physically,
God.
emotionally, mentally, and most importantly, spiritually. My advice to everybody, y'all, is to heal. Start your healing process. And it's your journey. It don't have to be like no one else. Start your healing process and start it today. You will thank me later. You have to feel in order to heal. And you have to feel in order to heal.
I don't know what happened. Looked like we lost the connection with Courtney, but listen, what she was saying was absolutely beautiful in terms of, healing. And again, the power of the release of tears. Don't be embarrassed. It used to be a thing that held me up, and I feel like it was a sign of weakness. But sometimes you need to release and let the tears flow. And trust me, the healing can begin. You have been tuned in to We Shine Media Spotlight, and the spotlight was on author Courtney Clark, and I'm super excited to have had her as a guest. So make sure you follow Total Entertainment Radio. Make sure you follow us on the We Empower Network so that you can get these spotlights of these amazing people, because I'm telling you, you never know who's going to be able to drop something in your spirit to help you live a better life. Until next time, you guys have an amazing, amazing rest of the week. Bye.